I was a rebel from the day I left school. Grew my hair long and broke all the rules. I'd sit and listen to my records all day, with big ambitions of when I could play. My parents taught me what life was about, so I grew up the type they warned me about. They said my
Okay, a couple things first. So what we want to do here is we're going to go over some technique for highlighting shorter hair. What we want to avoid is trying to foil shorter hair, because what happens is there's not enough hair to hold the foils in, the foils slide, you get cold bands, or I see people that foil hair that's shorter or longer, and then they cut it short, and then you got the dotted lines going across the back of the neck. I wonder what they're thinking as that person leaves the building, because they obviously saw it before they left, but they let them leave anyway, because I do see people walk around with little dotted lines all over the back of the head. So we want to avoid all of that. We want to give it a natural dimension to it, but we want to get it light enough too, without having to bleach the whole thing and do a highlighted look. This works great on shorter hair. It also works great on men, young boys, all of that. What I like about this technique, it's an older technique. It's nothing new. It's something I learned in the early 80s, but it works. It still works, and it's very practical. First thing I want to find out is we are trying to go a pretty light blonde, right? As light as we can, pretty much. So we'll be using a toner also. The other thing I want to make sure now, how short are we going to be cutting these sides and stuff? Are they a lot shorter than they are, or are we just going to be shaping them up a little bit? Because the last thing I want to do is put highlights in there and then cut them short. Now we got dots all over the place too. I want them to blend in nice. So that's one thing we would have to determine a little bit too.
It's probably been 3 weeks.
Yeah, so you're not cutting you're not like buzzing it.
No,
So you're going to leave some hair. That's all I really need to know.
Yes.
And some movement up here and stuff too.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to pull this through a bag. I don't like to use the word cap, because when I use cap, people want to run, and if you use the word frost, they're going to run. They think you're old school, and it's going to look like grandma's old frost, and they're going to hate you for it. And you probably won't get them to sit still in the chair anyway. So what I want to do is first kind of comb the hair all in its natural fall. Now, I just take regular perm bags, processing caps, whatever you want to call them, because just the texture of them works better. I have used turkey roasting bags from the store. Those work too. They're a little bit not as stretchy, so these seem to work better. All right, so we start by opening up our perm bag.
Mark, can the only way you get these is if you buy a perm, or can you buy these separate?
You can't buy these separate. You can usually only buy them if you buy a perm. So
your bags are now $6 a piece.
Generally what I do is when I do a perm, I save this and I use the elastic processing cap when I do my perms. So I start by first cutting off one side. Use your best, sharpest scissors, of course, you know.
No.
Just kidding. Alright, so we cut off one end, and now we've created our cap. We want to make sure that little thing's going up. And I'm going to cut that also from the inside.
Why from the inside?
Well, I want to cut that there's a little flap here, so I want to just cut it. So you can see how I get that little flap going, and I just put a slice in that, because otherwise I can't get it tight enough to the head.
Got you.
Alright. So now we've got, and you can turn it inside out, whatever works best. So we want that little hole there too. We need that little hole. It has to breathe. Alright. One size fits all. I will let you breathe during this process, so don't worry. So now we can get in here and tie this up. I'm going to pull it tight. Not so tight that we lose our customer. Now, standard Scotch tape. Put a little plug in for 3M since they're a local company. I take my Scotch tape and I start here. I can see her hair through the cap, which you can already tell is a lot better than using the little old, I always call them the Little House on the Prairie cap. So I pull this tight as I pull this down around. And I do another one. Just because I was in the Navy and everything has a backup. And it just holds better. Alright. If these are too long, everybody's head is shaped different. These are too long and stuff, then you can trim them off. But I like to leave a little bit there. It makes the ammonia from the bleach and stuff go off.
Okay, can you just give me a little spin so I can see her kind of from the front too?
There you go.
Oh my gosh, you're adorable.
So see, so as I'm putting the tape down, you saw I'm kind of gathering and pulling this tight to the head so that that's tight. See how tight that is?
That is tight.
We're not done being tight yet.
Okay.
See how loose this is?
Yeah.
How loose that is? We got a lot of work yet. Now we take another piece. And this I'll show you how we gather it too. So I don't want to fold it over. I want to take this, go below the nape, and just kind of keep gathering it tight. Just like that. Then I take a larger piece, and I'm double taping it.
The navy trick.
Yes. Now this is the most important part. Take another little piece, push that down. That's why we need that hole in the top to let that air out. We want to try not to grab any of her hair. If you get a couple in there, don't worry about it. Now we tighten this. And we twist it. And got a handle on scotch tape. Now, I go around the same way like this. Now, as I'm putting the tape on, I'm also tightening it even a little more. Feel the pain?
Feel the pain.
Alright, so we're getting that tight, but we're not done yet. Now we take a little longer piece, and now we go the opposite way. I find if I don't do it both ways like this, it comes off when I wash it, and then I got a problem. So now, as I'm doing this, you see I'm kind of pulling the tape down, so this is actually making it tighter again.
Can you feel it tightening up as well, Kelly?
See how it's wrapping around? I'm keeping this end flat, but see how I'm going around and around. Look at the base. See how I'm going around at the base, and I don't care if it's not sticking or not. It doesn't matter at this point.
It's really about
Now I'll
tight.
take that last piece and tighten it around. That's tight. That's skin tight. Okay. Now, I prefer crochet, regular crochet hooks. These are professional ones with the handles. You can get these ones at Michael's, the sewing ones. These are from the beauty supply. Depending on what size you want, you decide. What I do then is I want these sharper because when you buy them, they're too round at the front and they're really hard to poke through. And what you don't want to do is poke through and be stabbing them in the head. So I actually take a file, an emery board, and I take it and I file this down on all four sides. So it's actually pretty pointy. This is actually sharp. See that?
And it
not
has a
enough
little hook on it?
Yeah, there's a hook on the crochet
Gotcha.
hook.
All right, so you just filed down that
I just file
fat
down
end.
the front so that it's sharp and not enough to draw blood. Okay.
Right.
Now the trick about doing a frost is don't go straight in because it's painful. You don't need to do that. And I start at the top and work my way down around. So I'm going to go down, and if they have a part line, if they have your part was right about here. You're not really part but separation. I like to go down that first. I'm going to lower you here a little bit. And what you want this sharper because now, and make sure you get this crown area, is because now I can pull it through. Now here's another thing. Say you're doing a retouch. This is something I've done in the past. Say I'm doing a retouch and their ends are more fragile. What I can do is I can just pull it like this and do a retouch.
Oh.
So I can do that too. Okay, if you want to keep the ends in there so that they don't get over processed from bleach. This point our hair is short enough and we want to get those ends. We're cutting it so we don't care. So I'm just going down her part. But you see I'm going at an angle. Does this hurt?
Not at all.
No. Go back to the crown. And the thing is I can design this for what I want, not what the cap is telling me, all the holes I have to pick from the cap. So I can make it as heavy as I want, as light as I want. And I want this heavier.
Yeah, in her case, we're not afraid to be heavy.
Right. She wants it a heavier frost.
Like, we'd love to be a bleach and tone, we just can't get there.
Right. And this is going to make it do that. Plus give it definition. We're going to have the other colors underneath.
Right.
And I'm going to show you how to do multiple colors too.
So tell me, now that she does have this, like, kind of, because we tried to do a high lift tint on her, which we tried before, and we're just like, okay, that is never going to work for her. She ends up too orange. Is there anything we are going to need to do today to combat her, her kind of...
Get through the old color?
Yeah.
The bleach we're going to put on is going to go right through
Okay.
it, so it's not a problem. All right.
So when you say toner, it makes me nervous because it's the toner that turns me orange, I think.
No, toner's not going to turn you orange. Toner's
Okay.
what makes it white. You cannot get white without a toner
Okay.
because all we can lift to is pale yellow. Unless you want pale yellow, we're perfect. You can tone with a toner. I find that's more permanent than like purple shampoo.
Okay.
Right. So I got her started a little bit, and you can see how dense it is. You can kind of see in here how much I'm leaving. you know, you got to kind of guess what you're going to use.
I would feel
okay?
compelled to like want more in here. Is
On her
that
part.
okay?
I haven't done that side
okay,
yet,
so I'm just
gonna
like,
go over there.
good, I'm glad I'm
kind of-
seeing that
I'm
then.
working this way too.
Got you.
What I want to do next is mix up the powder bleach.
Okay.
Because I want it to thicken a little bit too before
Okay.
we apply it.
All right, do you want me?
Okay, you hold that.
Yeah.
All right. So now what we want to do is we want to mix up our powder bleach. Generally one that is stronger. I'm not using any particular brand for this, so whatever you like. Usually better than like a cream or a clay lightener. You need something that's a little stronger than those. We want to mix it up now because you know how powder bleaches tend to thicken? Because we want this a little thicker when we put it on. Those holes are pretty tight because that bag is more elastic, but we still don't want to push color through there and end up with dots on the head and stuff like that. So we want to mix it to a consistency similar to like a balayage consistency, something like that. Not too runny, and this will thicken. So we want to let that sit now while we finish pulling the rest through. Okay, so now again we want to work around this crown area because you don't want to forget that and have this dark spot right there. So I always want to kind of make sure I get in here and get some. You can pull some, and sometimes what I'll do too is I'll pull with the bigger crochet hook like this, and then I'll pull with the little one too. So it gives you kind of like micro weaves.
Like
you
a
know.
little variation too,
Yeah.
right?
And you can adjust how much you pull. But see, if you go at an angle, see, you can just kind of whip right through this. Now, we're not cutting the hair super short. So if we were, I would start, like, say we were cutting this real short, I would start creating a fade here. Okay, so we're thicker up there. Then I would kind of come down, very sporadic, nothing exact. See, so then I kind of create a little bit of a fade so that it goes into almost nothing. Okay, and I don't want to go all the way down because this will be cut real short. That's just if we were doing that. We're going to have it a little longer, so we're going to go through. I just want to show you that quick. So you can go back and pull more out if you think you need more in there. The other thing that's nice is you can see their ear, so you're not poking their ear, you can get it around the ear. Where with the frosting caps, you can't see that ear and you're poking them in the ear. And back in the 80s, I went to do a frosting on a young man, and I put it on his head and he said, "Oh, great. I look like Little House on the Prairie and I'm in a salon full of women." That's when I decided I got to do something a little different. Okay, so now see around her hairline? See how I can see all the hair on her hairline? And I can come in here and actually pull out pieces right along the hairline so that I make sure I get all of these, see? Even up in here where she's a little thinner. So we can get all those little ones that normally you would miss. See that?
Yeah, let's turn her a little bit. Can you turn her a little towards you? There you go. Show me
There
through
you
that
can
again.
see. I don't want to pull it all out, but see how you can get right up. You can see them. You can see them right in there. See, I can pull these little ones and create whatever I want for that look. Okay, this is going to be plenty in here. Sometimes
Okay,
it
that's
doesn't.
good to know because I might be an
Sometimes
overdoer.
it doesn't seem like a lot, but again, it's a frosting technique. It's not to have the whole head done too. All right, so we're going to go back up in here. Now we're back in the part area. If I don't want to go in straight lines, I can go scattered and sporadic. If I get loops, don't worry, I'll comb those out later. Now if I want to get around her hairline, get around her ear here. This is the trick too, is make sure you do the same on both sides. Nothing's worse than taking a frost off and you got twice as much on one side than on the other side. We've all done it. Those of us that grew up in the 80s and did frosts, or were hairdressers in the 80s, I guess. You want to try it?
I do.
Why don't you try just going across there? I'll film you and then you just see how it
Okay,
feels.
so I'm holding this.
Yeah, hold
My
it tight to
guy's
the
coming
head.
in this way.
Yep. So remember, stay at a flat angle. Don't. There you go. Keep your hook up. There you go. If you stay flatter like this, then you won't poke her in the head. See, and then you can just pop it in and out. See.
Am I getting you, Cal?
Not at all. Feels fine. Feels the same.
Okay. So you're kind of pulling it tight here.
And just creating your pattern.
That's poking straight in a little more.
Sorry.
Yeah, so
okay.
keep it as flat as possible to
Got
the
you.
head.
Oh my gosh, it's
It
so
doesn't
fun
hurt
and
my
easy.
head.
I
Isn't it
love
easy?
you. I'm like, mwah.
All right, so, and
I let him do it.
depending
I'll let
if
him
you're,
finish 'cause
you're
he's quicker
right or
at it.
left-handed, so, see, make sure your hook is up.
Up, out.
Well, out
we call
from
it
the
out.
scalp.
So flat.
So, see, and I can just kind of go and pop it in.
Dang, that is so ridiculously fun too.
Now, see here, I got a little bit of looseness. That's okay. I'll just hold it tight to the head with my finger. as
So you
I
don't
go through.
accidentally pull up something that shouldn't be there, right? That's
No.
what you're worrying about.
No, I'm just worried about the bag being looser and not getting
Oh, okay.
tight to the head. But I'm going to show you how we tighten it to the head even after we get this done. So when I get down here, I kind of do it nice and sporadic. Again, I don't want those lines, especially if all of a sudden what happens is you get this all done and then you're cutting like, oh, I'd like it shorter. Oh, great, wait a minute. So we want to make sure what we're doing for the haircut. And as what's our model's name again?
Kelly.
Kelly, but as Kelly stated in the beginning, is she had this done years ago by another hairdresser who was very talented and knew how to do this. And he used to cut the
it
hair
first.
I like having the hair longer. It just gives me more hair to work with. It just depends on the haircut. Now, if her hair was shoulder length and we're doing short, yeah, then I'd pull it first because I don't want to pull all that through the cap.
Yeah.
I go through and just kind of make sure I don't have any spots that are missed. Maybe I want to add some too.
Yeah, she cannot be too blonde according to her. So we're not
She's
afraid.
going to be blonde.
All right.
She's going to be blonde, but she's also going to have this color in here, the color that's under the bag. And that's what's going to be pretty. Is it's going to look real
Especially
natural.
when we pull it together with all the toner, will help to bust out some of this.
Well, you don't have to pull it together with the toner. The toner can just stay on this, and you can leave that underneath that color. Because that hair is generally not going to take a toner as well because it's, the cuticle has had time to close back down. I'm just checking her front hairline, making sure we got enough down here. So on the front, we want it good and blonde, so we don't end up with a dark spot.
I feel like I want more blonde back here. Are you afraid of that?
Nope, not at all.
All right.
A good way to check your haircut too.
Yeah.
All right.
No
So
judgment.
now I'm going to take a comb and I'm going to comb through. So if I have any loops left, I want to be careful though not to loop the plastic. So kind of not dig in this way, kind of dig in, let the comb drag a little, just to kind of make sure I got all the loops pulled out.
And you're feeling kind of even about your amount of hair.
Yeah, and I can kind of see where I'm at, how much color I have.
Kelly, how are you doing and feeling? Are you doing okay?
Great.
Good.
So yeah, if you see any loops, and like I showed you in the beginning, you can do the loops, like I say, for a retouch, and I've done that on a little bit longer hair. Say if you had longer hair and you wanted to do a frost, which we used to do, we would just pull out that loop for the regrowth and leave all that hair underneath. All right. So now you can see our powder bleach has thickened up a little more, right? So it's almost balayage.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
Generally
stand it.
balayage, you want to have it pretty thick. All right. So
This is so fun.
Is there an area you wanted more?
Oh yeah, I feel like I want that. He did pull some more out of here. I
no,
feel like
you got plenty. All right.
I'm gonna trust
We're
him.
gonna
He's
start up in here.
been at this for 150
And
years.
what I can
Okay,
do
good.
too to make sure I get at the scalp is as I'm doing this, I'll pull these tighter, see, and get it right down to the scalp. If a little bit sucks back in, it's okay. But it's not going to. See how that, because the powder bleach is thick enough that it holds it away.
And you're feeling good about the 40 because we're open air, right?
Yep,
and
yep.
just like it.
Well, and I can bag it too. If I want to speed it up and bag it, put her under heat, I can do all that. I don't like to use heat unless I have to because again, it's going to swell the product up and it can push the product down the
Might
holes.
cause
Now,
some bleeders.
I'm putting the product on the hair and I'm trying not to push it into the holes as much too.
Got you.
So that's important.
Think about that, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean a little bit's not going to matter. It's a frost. You're going to get some of that. That's just going to happen anyway. You see how our ends? I don't need to get on those ends yet. I'll put it on the ends near the end, just so they'll accept the toner better. You can see right here. See where the dark is? See when I pull on it?
Oh my goodness, this is
See
so
her all
fun.
around her hairline? I can just pull on that and see the darker ones. Now, some people wear gloves. I'm not a glove person.
Ever?
Not really unless I'm doing black or, real dark brown retouch on short hair, but I find I can work with the hair better when I don't have gloves on. I get in trouble for it all the time because
You're on fire.
yeah. Well, no, I have had bleach burn on my hands. It's no big deal. Pull that hairline back again, so then again, see you're getting it tight right down to the scalp. And see, when I pull on that too, that also pulls the cap tighter to the scalp. Where you know when you've used if you've ever used a traditional pressing cap, it's usually about that far from the scalp when you're done.
Right.
On shorter hair, you know, it's okay.
You
we
can't
can pawn
afford that,
off
but
as
you can't afford
a
that,
tipping. I remember back in the 80s, we used to do like balayage techniques, and we did techniques on shorter hair where we actually put the peroxide, we sprayed the hair with peroxide in a spray bottle, and then we sprinkled the powder bleach with a salt shaker.
Oh no, you're kidding.
Yeah, but,
my
and our
God.
plant was having a cigarette at the same time, so you know, it was all good. We used to have incense cigarettes going at the station for incense back in the 80s, you know.
Did you ever smoke, Mark? Did you ever smoke with your clients, like at the chair?
No,
Never.
not at work. I quit when I was in beauty school.
Oh my gosh, that's a miracle.
When cigarettes went $1 a pack, I quit. I couldn't quit when I was in the service because there was nothing else to do when you're on watch or something. So. All right, so now I can work that in. This is a little shorter, so I can get it all the way to the ends.
Oh my gosh, I'm so stinking
And
excited.
I say these ends we can leave out for a little bit.
They
We
kind
can
of pull
just-
through at the
Yeah, we can
end
pull it through to the ends.
later.
Make sure we get that crown area good. If the ends are fragile and you put this on, we just call that a chemical razor cut. It's no big deal. It works.
Chemical cuts. Kelly's had them plenty of times in her 20-some years. Yeah.
Okay, now another thing that we can do. Here's a couple other things. In the Navy, we referred to some women as a double bagger. It meant different than this. That was in case she chewed through one. We have done this as a double bagger also, where I'll take this now and I'll get the bleach on here. I'll put another bag on top of it, and I can actually go through and I'll pull some other pieces, like just accent pieces. I won't do the whole thing usually,
Right.
but I'll pull some accent pieces out, and then I'll do another color. Like say I did a 20 volume here, I can do a 40 volume there.
Okay.
Things like that. There's some other things I can do when I tone it. And I do this quite often because I don't always want the toner to be the same on the whole head. So think of the old Sunglitz days when you used to do color, all
Yeah.
that. You do the same thing with toners.
Okay.
Not that that product was goofy because it had all the colors in it. But the other thing I'll do is like say I'll do some heavier pieces in the front. I'll tone that with a real white toner in a foil. So I'll put my toner in an actual foil, and then I'll tone the rest with like a cream color.
Okay.
you know.
So like you take the cap off and wash.
No, I
and
leave the cap on. Or when I tone it, I can leave the cap on and do it.
But with her, I think I would want to tone everything, don't you?
Yeah, we can at the end. We'll run it through, but our
Because-
toner's going to sit on for a good 10-15 minutes. I don't just use a demi-permanent color and put on. I use an actual toner
Got
color.
you. Yeah.
Semi-permanent, and I want it to stay, so I want it to sit for at least 10 minutes.
Okay.
So, and I
But why
like
can't that sit on? Because you like the dimension.
I like the dimension a little bit.
But I'm a little concerned. Like that old yellow is going to be poking through.
No, we'll hit it a little bit, but this
Okay.
is still going to be plenty bright. This
Okay.
is going to
I trust you.
overcompensate that a little bit,
Okay.
so it'll work.
All right.
All right, so we're going to let her sit for a little bit, and again, we can also bag it if it's not coming up fast enough, or we want it that look like the inside of a banana or
I think we're
spaghetti
okay. I
noodles.
think it's going to go quick.
We can
I
do
feel
that.
like she's quick.
Make sure you're not getting
Nope.
in the mirror. Okay. So now we've got that on there. So again, we don't have to always run this all the way through the ends if they've been processed and they're a little more fragile. Because once we bag it, that ammonia is going to get on those anyway and open it enough that they'll receive the toner. So this is just a processing bag. If we were doing that double bagger, we would do another tight bag and put it on. This is just to process it. And we put it in a dryer, heat lamps, whatever you want to do, and let her sit for a while. So
All right. Thank you,
when she's
Mark.
done, I'll show you how to take it off and how to add the toner to it.
Perfect.
All right. All right, so we're checking her color here now, and you can kind of see we just took the bag off and let her sit. You can see how it's getting pretty light. Yep. can see down in there where and we've gotten past that golden stage a little bit. You can kind of rub it off a little bit and kind of see, make sure we get it up to about the inside of a banana is what we want. If we're not sure if it's light enough, take a rag and kind of clean it off, but just make sure. Let's see. Just about ready to take off. Now we worked it through the ends a little bit too, just to get the bleach on there, because we want to open up the cuticle on the end so that they'll grab the toner also. Alright, so we're going to shampoo her off. Now you can see she's pretty much done processing.
Gosh, that is nice and tight.
Nice yellow, feels right tight to the scalp.
Do I have to worry about it?
No, just rinse it real good and just keep your hands so don't splash on her face, that's all. They'll look more yellowy and stuff when it's wet, but that's okay. It should look like the inside of a banana. That's as light as you can possibly get. If you get any lighter, then it starts breaking off. It's spaghetti. And I generally just give it a real light shampoo. You know, if you're going to shampoo the toner out anyway, just enough to stop the oxidation and get the ammonia out from the bleach and stuff. That's about all.
Should I use any kind of shampoo? Do you want me to use my purple or anything?
No, because that'll affect the toning. Just use regular shampoo. I mean, I have toned them with just purple shampoo too, but the only thing is it's not, you know, it's not quite as permanent. Yeah. It's going to wash out. If they're using a purple shampoo at home, that's okay, but... So sometimes when you're washing it, if you happen to wash out, if this tape comes off of this little thingy back here, it's okay, just leave it there. Don't try to fix it. It'll still tone, but try not to wash that off if you can. You know, that's why I put the tape around twice. It seems to hold better that way. Because we want to keep it nice and tight. And just wrap it in a towel and be ready to tone. And most toners are designed to put on damp hair. Yeah. You know, it just depends on what you've got and how much it lifts.
Feel good?
Yeah, so see, you can see when I pull on it, I can see some dark pieces. Let's see if I can show you that. You can see some of the dark pulling up through. Where is it? Right there. There you can see a little bit of the dark. So there's no bleeding really. It holds up pretty tight on the scalp.
I like that.
And you can see the dark at the scalp when I pull on it.
This is so fun. All right, Cal, ready?
It depends on your toner, whether the hair needs to be dry or whatever. Most toners tend to work well on wet hair. It's fine. So when you look at it down in here, so you can kind of see how, there's no big bleed spots or anything like that. It works pretty well because the plastic stretches a little bit and it gets on there. So now, when we put the toner on, what I do is, again, the same thing I did when I applied the bleach is I pull on a little bit just to make sure that it gets, because then if it sucks back down, it kind of brings that little bit of toner down in there too. Sometimes I'll take like a piece like this, I'll go like here and I'll go this way with one, then I'll do another toner this way. You know, you can mix it up. I've taken these and put them in foils and put another toner in there, so I'll just grab a strip of these, put them in a foil, and then I've got that in another color. So those are all options. You can be creative, more creative with this than I think you can with a normal frosting cap. So working that up. So see, as I pull on these tight, it pulls it right up to the scalp.
When does the toner go on when you're foiling?
After.
Some people don't tone for foils.
Oh.
A lot of people don't. 90% of people that foil don't tone it. They don't know how, a lot of them. It's another step. They just leave everybody with yellow hair.
Right.
And toners, to me, make the hair look prettier and more refined, I think.
Shinier.
And it's shinier. It's not as raw. I try to tone pretty much most of my foils. I got a couple that I don't, but usually they're not the bright, light, real light ones. They're the more caramely bleaches where I'm using like a 10 volume, or I've even used a demi developer with my powder bleach and foils just to get a soft caramel look, I'll kind of work that in. You can see that's starting to tone already. And we'll let that sit for a little while. Now when this is just about done, we'll take the cap off. I always want to make sure I get all these little ones around the front. So you can see here now, you can see right where they are. I don't know if you can tell there. You can see some of the dark underneath.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm going to show you how to remove the bag. You want to do this properly, or you could lose a customer and she's never going to come back in because she's going to be dead. You're going to cut her throat. So no. So I stick my thumb inside here. Okay. See that? I slide that along there, and the bag is cut. So I'm still going to let that sit.
Now she's breathing a little.
Now she can breathe a little more. And when we take it off, we just pull it off, and then I'll show you how I flip it inside out and massage the rest of it. Alright, I'm going to show you what to do now. Alright, so we processed our pieces. You can see how light we got those. We cut this, you saw that. So now we're going to take our cap, we're going to pull it off. Now sometimes there might be hair stuck in this little one here, so you want to be a little careful because you'll pull on her hair, she'll scream and hate you. Now what I do is I take the rest of this and I kind of massage it in now. Work that through. And we don't have to do this, we just want to get some toner on the rest of that hair because she still has some old yellow and more golden tones in there from her last coloring. It didn't quite lift light enough, so we want to put a little bit more toner in those too. We're not going to leave this on super long, just enough to just enhance it a little bit and blend it.
The next pull through, like the next one will probably even knock it out even more.
But
I feel
I
good
don't
about
mind if there's a little bit of gold in there because again, it gives it some
dimension. I think this is fun because these
dimensions.
are going to be really nice.
And that darker in the scalp areas, it's kind of
like
in
a
right
shadow,
now too.
yeah.
You want that little bit of shadow effect. So it's not. Those blondes are going to be light enough that they're going to blend really well, and it's going to seem lighter overall. So we're going to just go ahead and shampoo this out now and condition it as you would, and we'll finish style it.
Perfect. I still have to cut it.
As I color it, I can't wash it in my shampoo bowl.
You don't want any direct spin in.
There you can see the finish. And what I want to do is show you in here, see how it's not all blobby and it's got a nice definitions in it, the colors.
Okay, one more question for you, Mark. So you're not going to worry that she's blue right now because that'll just
It'll come off. It's just from, just from those ends grabbing.
Yeah.
If it bothered you, you could, get it wet and put a little bit of powder bleach just out of the pan on there, and that'll take that off, but I wouldn't worry about it. It's just because those ends are so, they've been processed so much, and that's why we didn't put the bleach on it until the very end.
All right.
But I think under these lights it looks more too. You'll wait to get her out and
See it, and then also know that I know that this is going to wash out for you. Right.
It's a nice platinum color though.
How you feeling? I don't feel like blue.
I don't think it looks blue at all. I'll just show under here. So you can see the platinum in there and how it goes right to the scalp. So those highlights are right down to the scalp. And it's that nice platinum look.
I was a rebel from the day I left school. Grew my hair long and broke all the rules. I'd sit and listen to my records all day, with big ambitions of when I could play. My parents taught me what life was about, so I grew up the type they warned me about. They said my friends were just an unruly mob, and I should get a haircut and get a real job. Get a haircut and get a real job. Clean your act up and don't be a slob. Get it together like your big brother Bob. Why don't you get a haircut and get a real job? I even tried that 9-to-5 scene. I told myself it was all a bad dream. I found a band and some good songs to play. Now I Party all night, I sleep all day. I met this chick, she was my #1 fan. She took me home to meet her mommy and dad. They took one look at me and said, oh my God, get a haircut and get a real job.